All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. In the last lecture, we went through this simple spreadsheet where I put in all the names of all of you in the class, and what I said was we're going to imagine that we all work for the ACME Widget company. We're all employees there, and you can see we don't have a lot of employees, but one for each person in the class, including me. All right, now let's talk about what's good about this particular table and what's bad about this particular table. Well, what's good is the way that it currently exists. Every record is unique, and a record is just one line of information. So there's the record about me, there's the record about Dominic, there's the record about Ivy, etc. They're all unique. Now that's a good thing. The bad thing is, what if we hire another person in? I don't have a son, but what if I did? And what if my son had the exact same information as me? Maybe he was Jeffrey P. Scott Jr., had the same address, city, state, zip, and went to work for the same department. Well, then how would you tell the difference between me and my son? And you can imagine this. So that's one of the things in here that's, for lack of better words, kind of poor. So what if we came in here and did this? And we could do this. I'm going to come in and I'm going to add, insert, two more new columns. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this SSN. All right? And we'll make this 111223333. Oh, I guess I've got to widen that out a bit. All right? And I'm going to make all these up. So I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff in here, random stuff, so that we get it in here. Oops, that wasn't good. What I'm doing here, I don't know. All right, so now each person in the database is unique and has a field that we could use as what's called a primary key. You may or may not remember this. We talked about it earlier, but a primary key is also known as a unique record identifier. And I could make the social security number the primary key. There is nothing that precludes me from doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Wrong is, I guess that's kind of not the right way to put it. But there would be nothing to stop me from doing that. However, a primary key, a couple things about a primary key. Number one, okay, it's a unique record identifier. I already mentioned that, I believe. Number two, it should be what's called unintelligible. In other words, if somebody were to grab your primary key field and get a hold of it, they shouldn't be able to do anything special with it. Well, that's not the case here, and you can all see that. Because if somebody gets a hold of someone's social security number, all right, they can do a lot of damage. So although there's nothing wrong technically with making the social security number the primary key, it's not considered good practice to do that. So what I would do instead is I would come in here. Let me grab this field because it's kind of big right now. It's taking up a lot. I'm going to change the name of it from middle initial to MI. All right? Which means that now I can grab these things right here. I can move them, let's say, over to here. All right? And now I can get rid of one of these columns. Just making this a little bit smaller so we're able to throw more stuff on here. All right? But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add another field. All right? So I'm going to add myself another field here. And I'm going to call this field, for now, I'm just going to call it I'm going to call it ID. All right, so I'm going to call it ID. And I need a little bit more room here, so let me go and take some of these columns that I have nothing in and make them a little bit smaller. Just grab those. That gives me a little bit more room, so I think I can come in here and add another column. There we go. All right, so ID. For now, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, we might want to change that a lot, but that's just the way I'm going to keep them for right now. All right. Now, what's better about what we currently have is now we still have the Social Security number. They're still unique, but our primary key can now be the ID. So I'm not going to make it the Social Security number. All right, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to make the primary key the ID. Well, that is a field that literally is what is called unintelligible. That is an unintelligible field. Well, what happened here? All right. So let's start putting this into an actual database. Well, then we're going to find out some of the problems that we still have with this as we go on. But I think this is a good place to come in here and start actually putting the stuff in. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to start up XAMPP. We're going to do this a couple times. Start up the control panel. I'm going to start up Apache and I'm going to start up MySQL. When they turn green, they're both working. And I'm going to click Shell. And I'm going to type in MySQL -u root. Now I can start typing in information. All right. First thing I want to do is I want to create a database. If I show my databases right now, I do have one called ACME. Well, that's not good. Let's drop that. So now it's gone. All right, so I'm going to say create, and I'm going to put, until we get used to this, I'm going to put my keywords in uppercase and my non-keywords in lowercase. So create database ACME. Now it should have created that database, and there it is, but there's nothing in it. Now, in order to be able to do anything with the ACME database, like add a table, which is what we want to do, we have to make it active. So I say use ACME. So it now is the active database. So now I want to create a table. Employees. Table must have at least one column. Okay, we have to come in here and start to create the table, and that was on me. We're going to put all this stuff in it right there. So, create table employees. So first we're going to have an ID, and that will be an integer field of size 11. That's normally what you make a primary key field. All right, and we're going to say in here primary key and auto increment. All right, I believe I put that in right, which means we're going to be able to automatically have this fill in for us. Okay? All right. Second field will be SSN, and that'll be a string. So it's actually going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, but we're not sure if people are going to put it in with the dashes or not. So we're going to make this a varchar of size 11. And we're going to put in here not, no, unique. And what that means is we can't leave that field blank, and each one of them must be unique. All right, so first name, that will be a varchar, and I think 20 should be plenty big. And again, that cannot be null. Last name, varchar, forgot the middle initial. MI for middle initial. That'll be a varchar. Let's make that a char. That'll be one character. And that can be null. All right. Last name, varchar 20. Again, that cannot be null. Address, varchar. Let's make that about 30. And that can't be null. City, varchar. Make it 20. That can't be null. State, we'll make that a char, and that will be 2 characters. That can't be null. Am I missing anything here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Let's just call this zip. And we'll make this a varchar. And remember, some people, we've got all these as 5 characters, but sometimes there's a dash and 4 characters, so we'll make it a varchar 10. That can't be null. We'll have a department name. That'll be a varchar. Oh, let's make that 25. That can't be null. And finally, we'll make a department number. And that will be, we want to force that to be numeric. So let's make that an int, and we'll make it of size 3. We shouldn't have any more than 999 departments. So that can't be null. No comma after the last one. Now, if I made any mistakes, you're going to know it right now when I hit enter, because I'll get mistakes. Hopefully I didn't, because that was a lot to type. You have an error. I think I shouldn't have put the word null in there. Darn it. I can use my up arrow key and start doing this, like do it again like this. So create employees, ID, social security number, first name, now middle initial. We're just going to leave this like this. Last name, address, city, state, zip, department name, department number. Still have an error. Doesn't like the unique. Well, I don't want to waste my time or your time. Let me try it one more time here. Create employees. ID, that should be okay. Doesn't seem to like unique here, so let's try it like this. So first name, middle initial, last name, address, city, state, zip, department name, department number, son of a gun. It's telling me it doesn't like something here in line 3. I spelled increment wrong. Oh my goodness. All that. I want to see if I can put unique here. There we go. We finally got our table. All right. So, show tables. And we've got employees. Okay? Describe employees. So there is everything that we wanted in here. Notice middle initial can have nulls. Notice that ID is a primary key which will auto increment. Notice that social security number must be unique. This is good. All right, we've got the database. This is what's referred to as our schema. The schema has now been set up. I'm going to come back in the next iteration of this and put in the data. So I'll be back with that shortly.